I wanted to do a comparison of some IEMs that I have. And I had said that I would come back with a review of the biggies and the smalls, the Monk IE Biggie and the Monk IE Smalls. Sort of with regards to that, I much prefer the Biggie. I know people have talked about the Smalls, and there is some preference to that one. Personally, my favorite is the Biggie by a pretty wide margin. And the reason for that is that the soundstage is immense on them, and I've been using some foam tips with them. Although I have used some of the silicone tips as well, and I don't think that the sound changes super dramatically with the tips, as long as you get a good seal, of course, that's the key. I prefer the Biggie quite a bit. The Smalls, slightly more treble, a little bit more brilliance in the sound signature. However, the Biggie just sounds overall more dynamic, larger. The sound stage is really big. It's got great bass extension, and it's fantastic. It's a really good IEM, and well worth. It punches above its weight. Issues that people may have with it, I think that the main sort of driving thing will be that people are used to a very unnatural sound nowadays. What they're used to is crazy extension in both directions, including, and specifically treble, and it's not natural. That's not how music has sounded over the years. And to me, this is a step back to a more to a sort of an older school approach to tuning, and there is, I guess people will consider it recessed treble, but it's really powerful in the upper mids and the lower treble extension, but the brilliance may not be there. So it doesn't sparkle up top, but it does give you a great sense of stage and depth, quite frankly. So I really like the Biggie a lot. And it's one of my favorite IEMs currently. So I wanted to compare it to the KZ ZS5s, mainly because this is such a popular budget option, just KZ in general, and also the ZS5 was a huge hit for them, huge hit. And the thing that people get mixed up is this idea that more drivers is better somehow, and that's an easy mistake to make. We've been tuned throughout our lives to think more is better in every facet of our lives, and money, power, whatever. That's how humans work. More is better. Now, there was some controversy with this model because it was discovered through Soulsick reviews. Jay over at Soulsick, a fellow Canadian. What up, Jay? Discovered, they took one of these apart, the ZS5 V1. This is the V1, by the way. And the V1 has a single nozzle, a single BA in the nozzle. It's got a dynamic driver somewhere around here. And then it's got a dynamic driver in its own sort of little cabinet back here, and another BA pointing to nowhere where it would matter. But that said, I mean, these things are tuned pretty well. It's probably the best job that KZ has done thus far at tuning, maybe. Although I like the ZST as well. And the ZS3 is pretty good because it's a single dynamic driver, but of course that's boring for most people. But it's good, it just doesn't fit very well, in my ear anyways. So they took in the first of all, they kept the same name, which pisses me off. I hate when companies do that, and sneakily stuck one of the other BAs that was doing nothing before in the nozzle, and made the sound signature, from what I understand, even more piercing. And it didn't need any of that brightness, that's for sure. So what do these sound like in comparison to these? Well, these are polar opposites, essentially. This is a bright sounding IEM with sharp treble attack, and it's very thin through the mids, I find. It's got boomy bass and good extension on the bass, and it's got a wide sound stage as well as the Biggie. However, it's a thin attack. So vocals, everything sounds quite thin. It's inconsistent in how it handles music, from song to song, recording to recording. It's not great. So that, I mean, that said, I mean, there's songs that I like listening to it with, and certain songs sound quite good. Other songs don't. So I would say, based on that, it's inconsistent. But then again, you can pick these up for what, $13 on GearBest nowadays. So for that, I mean, give it a try. You don't know which ones you'll get. That's the thing. That's another problem. You might get the V2 version, which people don't seem to like as much. So there's that. And you probably will get that version too, actually. The V1s are a little bit more recessed in the treble area-ish, but I wouldn't call them recessed treble. I'd call them bright in their approach. So yeah, there's these. These to me, but again, people are tuned to be used to this sound signature. Unnatural sound is you know, going into 2018 soon, is a pretty popular sound signature nowadays. Natural, not as much, but then again, it's about brain burning. So if you're coming from these directly to these, you're probably going to be in for a shock. But if you give them a few hours, burn them in physically, you know, for maybe 25, 30 hours, and then get used to the sound signature, you will find that you're probably going to be rewarded. That's been my experience. By the way, this is the cable that excellent AAW, or AWW, well, I can't remember the manufacturer name, cable that came with the Shozy Hibiki. And that's the segue into these guys. These beautiful guys. These are the Shozy Hibiki. Not necessarily, I mean, this metal plate on the front is awesome. And these things look way more expensive than they are. Actually, you can get these for $59 USD. That's how much I bought them for. I paid more for shipping, and I live in Canada, so I paid more in Canadian ducats, but that's how much these guys are. So $59 USD with shipping and everything, import fees, etc. I paid about 90 bucks for these. Well worth it in Canadian dollars. So what do these bring to the table? Well, this is a single dynamic driver, just like our friends the Biggie. By the way, I should say the smalls, I like it. I'm not going to say I don't like it. I am still getting used to it. I was immediately more interested in the Biggie, maybe just because of the name, I'm not sure. But it is the one that I'm used to now. The smalls, I'm trying to understand it, let's say. I don't have enough time with it. I might come back and do a video on them. But I wouldn't discount them. But the Hibiki, this thing gets great reviews. I don't understand why it's not more popular with headfires. It is strange to me. This thing is awesome. Not only is it completely comfortable, it just melts into your ear. Just the ergonomics of it are fantastic. The sound is incredible. I mean, these guys, in my opinion, are kind of a hybrid of the two sounds here. They sit somewhere in between. It could be considered bright. I guess people would describe this as bright, but it's not bright in a piercing sense. There's still a lushness and a thickness to the sound. The mid bass hits hard. I've heard people say that they're bass light. They're not, you know, check your damn source, find another source, you know, up the bass with EQ, or maybe up the bass with hardware would probably be more of a recommendation. But these things go, and they can handle a significant amount of EQing and bass, additional bass. But I find the mid bass hits really well with these guys. I find they have a lush sound. I think their sound signature is very round. It's not extremely wide. I've heard wider sound signatures, but it's round. It's got depth to it, and it's got width. It's not. Whereas these guys are a little bit more ovular. So these guys have width, but I don't find there's any depth. And these guys again are I would consider them around signature 2. Maybe slightly wider than the Hibiki. These are very clear. I would describe them as clarity monsters. And if you're into that, if you want to hear all the nuances in your songs, this is the one to go for. Now, of course, this is the price of 2 of these, and the the Biggie, the Smalls. And you get a Monk Plus in there. I wrongly called it the Cappuccino in my last video. I think it's the Espresso model, and it's dope. And it comes with this dope cable on it. It's really nice. I like these a lot. I think they're hugely underrated, and I can't rec them enough. I think they're great, and really, by all accounts, one of the best at that price range, if not the best. So. There it is, you know. Do I think that they're good enough to top 2 Monks and the Monk Plus? I mean, I don't know. It just depends on what you're looking for, you know. That's a difficult question to answer because I don't know what everyone's looking for. That's it. They also come with this brilliant cable, which is incredibly comfortable. This is not exactly memory wire; it's just kind of shaped that way. And because it doesn't have a wire running through it, it's extremely comfortable and soft and supple. And the cable's really well braided. It seems very strong, although I don't have very much luck with cables. I tend to be hard on them and they break on me a lot. I hope I get to keep these guys for a while, along with the other cables that I got, the SPC and the Espresso cable from VE. Anyways, that's that, man. I just wanted to do a quick comparison, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. I'll try and do some more videos on different things. I'm mostly an IEM and earphone guy. So an IEM and earbud guy. I don't really, over-ears don't fit my big head properly. Anyways, that's that, man. Subscribe if you like the video. I don't really care about all that, but if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Cheers, man.